Fire! Quick, get the marshmallows! For our fire today, we want to make this nice and bright. So to start off with, we will prepare our model with a matte white spray. After getting the Army Painter speed paints recently, I have now changed the way that I paint flames, and I prefer this method completely. So that's what we will use today. However, if you haven't got these paints in your collection, then don't worry. I shall add the closest equivalent at the bottom of the screen for you to follow along. Zealot Yellow was the first colour here and was applied to the whole area. You don't want to add too much paint here, just enough to cover the white to make sure the colour is bright and punchy. Between the colours today, I shall use a hairdryer to speed up the drying times. It's a very handy tool for painters, and you can get things done that little bit quicker. Fire Giant Orange was mixed with a bit of speed paint medium here and was applied over the yellow. Leave about 1/4 towards the bottom as the heat of the flames is more intense here. Again, try not to let the paint pool in any areas, and if so, pick up any excess with the brush. Medium was used with the paint, and it makes the colour more translucent. So we are able to see some of that yellow through the orange. And as we build up the colours, you will see this more and more. Once this paint has dried, blood red with medium was then added to the top half this time, leaving the bottom section of orange to be seen. Now you can see the gradual build-up of colours, right? So we see the yellow at the bottom and building up to our red towards the ends of the flames at the top. For me, I like to add a further darker red, and this was done with a slaughter red paint to the top quarter to give even more transition. Using the hairdryer between the paints, this only took a couple of minutes to paint so far, and using speed paints, this can be very quick. And if you were using normal acrylic paints, I would suggest to dilute them with either some water or paint medium to get a similar result to this. And finally, a black was added to the very tips of some of the flames. This will be our smoky looking colour, where the flame wisps into the air. Now, one of the awesome features about speed paints is that it can reactivate when you apply another to the top of it, especially if you apply a bit of pressure with the brush. And this is perfect for our flames, so we can go back to our yellow colour and brush onto some of the areas between the red and the orange colours. This will create a blended look as the paints merge together slightly, and it will give the flames a nice flowing look to them. You could even do the same with the orange paint and go into the red and black. It just depends how you would like the final outcome to be. And we have a fairly quick, nice looking fire effect for our miniatures, just by using speed paints. As always, if you wish to take this further, we will add some extra elements right now, so let's continue and make this fire look even better. Firstly, our black parts to the fire will have a smoky look to them. Switching over to our acrylic paints now, and adding a highlight of uniform grey, we can achieve this. This also gives some shape to the tips of the flames, as the edges now stand out to the eye. And we want our fire to look even hotter, so the bottom section will be painted with a brightish yellow colour of moon dust. This was watered down slightly and painted towards the bottom areas of our yellow speed paint layer. As mentioned before, if you apply some pressure here, our diluted moon dust will reactivate the speed paint layer underneath and merge the colours wonderfully together. A few stray flames were also painted at this point where the orange and the yellow areas are, to give more of a natural look to the overall fire. And if you want to go one step further and make this look even hotter, then do exactly the same process, but this time using some arid earth. Again, diluted a little bit with water. A small amount of this was directed to the very bottom to create that intense heat. As we know, the lighter the colour of the fire means the hotter it's going to be. And for some extra detail, a few dots were added here and there to mimic a flickering flame. It also just gives a bit of interest to the miniature that we are painting too. And this technique today could be great for all sorts of miniatures, from 40k to fantasy, as well as scenery, where a torch could light up a dark dungeon. What would you use the flame effect on? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on hobbying.